Chapter 10, Exclusion to Inclusion, The Challenges and Barriers. Introduction. Across the world, many children are still unable to receive education because of social discrimination, poverty, or physical and mental disabilities. In countries like India, discrimination may occur based on religion, caste, race, language, gender, or social status. For example, some girls are denied education due to gender discrimination, while some children cannot attend school because their families are poor. In addition, educating children with physical or mental disabilities presents another major challenge. All these issues make it difficult to achieve the universalization of education, which means providing education to every child. To address this issue, the Right to Education (RTE) has been given priority to ensure that all children receive education equally. Inclusive education is considered an important step toward achieving this goal. It aims to include all children in the mainstream education system, regardless of their abilities or backgrounds. However, inclusive education is not simply placing children with disabilities in regular schools. True inclusion means ensuring the full participation of all students in learning and social activities according to their abilities and potential. Despite its benefits, the process of moving from exclusion to inclusion faces many challenges and barriers, such as physical, attitudinal, administrative, and financial obstacles. Background: from special education to inclusive education, there are more than 500 million differently abled people worldwide who have physical, mental, or sensory impairments. Because the majority of the population is considered physically and mentally normal, most social systems are designed according to the needs of these individuals. As a result, differently abled individuals were often separated from mainstream society. When the educational needs of these individuals were recognized, special education was introduced. Special education is specifically designed for students with disabilities and includes special teachers, special curriculum, specialized teaching methods, special learning materials, assistive equipment, and support services. Although special education aimed to help students with disabilities, it often resulted in segregation and isolation from mainstream education and society. This approach deprived them of opportunities to participate fully in social and educational life. From a human rights perspective, every individual deserves equal opportunities for education and development. Therefore, education systems gradually shifted from special education to integrated education and eventually toward inclusive education, which aims to educate all students together. Salamanca Statement and the Global Movement for Inclusion. In June 1994, representatives from 92 governments and 25 international organizations met at the World Conference on Special Needs Education in Salamanca, Spain. They adopted an important declaration promoting inclusive education for all children. The Salamanca Statement, supported by UNESCO, emphasized the principle of education for all. It recognized the urgent need to provide education for all children, youth, and adults within regular education systems. The statement highlighted that children with special educational needs must have access to regular schools. Inclusive schools help reduce discrimination and promote equality. They create welcoming communities and inclusive societies. They provide effective education for the majority of children and improve the efficiency and cost-effectiveness of the education system. This declaration became a significant step toward promoting inclusive education worldwide. Concept of inclusion and inclusive education. Meaning of inclusion. According to the Longman English Dictionary, inclusion means being part of something or being included within a group or system. In education, inclusion refers to including children with special needs in regular classrooms alongside other students. Definitions of inclusive education. Johnson, 1994, defines inclusive education as a flexible and individualized support system for children and young people with special educational needs due to disability or other reasons. UNESCO describes inclusion as a dynamic approach that responds positively to student diversity and views individual differences not as problems, but as opportunities for enriching learning. Meaning of inclusive education. Based on these definitions, inclusive education can be understood as an educational system that ensures education for all children, provides equal opportunities for participation and learning, includes children who were previously excluded from education for various reasons. Inclusive education does not only focus on children with disabilities. It also includes children from economically disadvantaged families, children from socially marginalized groups, children facing language, cultural, or social barriers. All these students learn together in regular classrooms with appropriate support and equal opportunities. Challenges and barriers to inclusive education. Although inclusive education offers many benefits, several challenges make its implementation difficult. Some major barriers include 1. Physical barriers. Many schools lack infrastructure suitable for students with disabilities, such as ramps, accessible classrooms, special learning equipment. 2. Attitudinal barriers. Negative attitudes and stereotypes towards students with disabilities often prevent their inclusion. Some teachers, parents, and community members may doubt their abilities. 3. Administrative barriers. Educational institutions may lack proper policies, trained staff, and organizational support to implement inclusive practices effectively. 4. Financial barriers. Inclusive education requires financial resources for infrastructure, training, teaching materials, and support services. Limited funding often restricts these efforts. Need for interventions. To overcome these challenges, there is a strong need for awareness and understanding of inclusive education, supportive government policies, adequate funding and infrastructure, teacher training and professional development, community participation. These efforts will help transform education systems from exclusion to inclusion, ensuring that every child receives equal opportunities to learn and grow. All 20 points, but simplified the language. Challenges and barriers of inclusive education, easy explanation. 1. Lack of awareness. Many people, such as parents, teachers, and society members, do not fully understand the concept of inclusive education. They often think it only means placing disabled students in regular schools, while actually it means providing education to all children, including socially, economically, and physically disadvantaged students. Part 2. Infrastructural barriers. Many schools do not have proper facilities for children with disabilities. For example, stairs without ramps, narrow doors, non-adjustable furniture, inaccessible toilets. These physical barriers make it difficult for students with disabilities, especially those using wheelchairs, to move freely in school. 3. Negative attitude of teachers. Some teachers are not willing to teach students with special needs. Their negative beliefs and lack of confidence in handling such students become a major obstacle in implementing inclusive education. 4. Negative attitude of parents. Some parents of non-disabled children believe that studying with disabled students may negatively affect their children. This misunderstanding creates resistance to inclusive education. 5. Financial challenges. Inclusive education requires extra funds for special teaching materials, training programs for teachers, support services for students. Lack of financial resources makes it difficult to provide these facilities. Verse 6. Lack of proper planning and monitoring. Effective implementation of inclusive education requires proper planning and regular monitoring. Without these, policies cannot be implemented successfully. 7. Difficulty in curricular adaptation. The curriculum often needs modification to meet the needs of diverse learners. This includes adapting teaching methods, learning materials, and evaluation methods. For example, textbooks may need to be converted into Braille for visually impaired students. 8. Lack of trained teachers. Many teachers are not trained to teach students with special needs. Teacher training programs usually focus on general education rather than inclusive education, so teachers may lack the necessary skills. 9. Inappropriate learning environment. If teachers do not create a supportive learning environment, students may struggle. Problems occur when teachers fail to understand students' needs, use appropriate teaching strategies, monitor students' progress, motivate learners. Number 10. Unavailability of resource rooms. Resource rooms provide special equipment and materials such as Braille materials, computers and projectors, hearing aids, educational charts and models. Many schools lack such facilities, making inclusive education difficult. 11. Traditional teaching methods. Old teaching methods like lecture method and textbook teaching do not meet the needs of diverse learners. Inclusive classrooms require modern methods such as cooperative learning, peer tutoring, participatory learning, multi-sensory teaching. 12. Lack of leadership skills. The school head, principal, or headmaster plays an important role in managing inclusive education. If leadership skills are weak, planning, funding, and coordination for inclusive education become difficult. 13. Lack of coordination and cooperation. Successful inclusion requires cooperation between teachers, special educators, administrators, parents, experts. Poor communication and lack of teamwork become a major barrier. 14. Peer rejection. Sometimes children with special needs are bullied or ignored by their classmates. This creates social isolation and makes inclusion difficult. 15. Problem of labeling. Some people label children based on their disabilities. This labeling can harm the child's confidence and create feelings of inferiority. 16. Lack of support services. Inclusive education often requires professionals such as counselors, psychologists, speech therapists, medical experts. These services are not always available in schools. 17. Overburdened teachers. Teachers already have many responsibilities besides teaching, such as election duty, census work, and health campaigns. Heavy workload reduces their ability to focus on inclusive teaching. 18. Lack of focus on life skills. Modern education often focuses mainly on marks and grades. However, students with special needs require more emphasis on life skills and communication skills, which are often neglected. 19. Lack of counseling. Teachers, parents, and society need counseling to develop a positive attitude towards inclusive education. Without counseling programs, misconceptions continue. And 20. Large class size. Inclusive education works better in small classes where teachers can give individual attention. Large class sizes make it difficult to address the diverse needs of students. Suggestions to overcome the challenges and barriers of inclusive education. Easy notes. Infrastructural interventions. These improvements focus on physical facilities in schools to make them accessible for all students. Construct ramps in every school for wheelchair access. Ensure barrier-free classrooms for easy movement. Provide wheelchairs in schools where needed. Make doors and doorways wider for wheelchairs and visually impaired students. Build large and spacious classrooms for easy mobility. Provide adjustable desks and chairs for comfortable seating. Modify furniture to meet the needs of students with disabilities. Ensure proper lighting for students with low vision. Use rubber mats on slippery floors to prevent accidents. Use book holders and mechanical page turners for visually impaired students. Paint poles, railings, stairs, and benches in bright colors, e.g. yellow, for better visibility. Fix drinking taps at suitable height for wheelchair users. Number 2, academic interventions. These steps focus on teaching, learning, and classroom practices. Create a positive and supportive learning environment. Provide instructional materials such as braille sheets, braille slates, embossed maps, globes, and phonetic charts. Provide assistive devices such as hearing aids, microphones, and page turners. Adapt the curriculum according to learners' needs. Recruit trained and qualified teachers for inclusive classrooms. Provide support services like counselors, doctors, and therapists. Identify learning difficulties early and provide remedial teaching. Use innovative teaching strategies such as peer tutoring, cooperative learning, multisensory teaching. Develop positive attitudes in teachers and staff through counseling. Conduct orientation programs for teachers, students, administrators, and parents. Implement individualized education programs, IEP, for students with special needs. Establish links between inclusive schools and special schools. Reduce class size to give individual attention. Use heterogeneous seating arrangements to promote interaction among students. Encourage teamwork and collaboration among students. Reduce audio and visual distractions in classrooms. Provide life skills and communication skills training. Decorate classrooms with charts, posters, and motivational quotes. 3. Administrative interventions. These actions are related to school management and policy implementation. Organize orientation programs for administrators, teachers, parents, and the community. Conduct in-service teacher training on inclusive education. Arrange adequate funding through government, NGOs, and community support. Construct ramps and accessible toilets in schools. Ensure regular monitoring by education officers. Arrange feedback sessions with students and parents. Maintain coordination and collaboration among all stakeholders. Establish parent-teacher associations, PTA, and regular meetings. Provide guidance and counseling services for students and parents. Ensure availability of professionals such as doctors, psychologists, and speech therapists. Establish resource rooms equipped with braille materials, hearing aids, and assistive technology. Provide wheelchairs and special accommodations for disabled students. Organize professional development programs for teachers. Arrange visits to other inclusive schools for learning best practices. Organize seminars, workshops, and conferences on inclusive education. Provide medical facilities in schools. Offer special training such as braille, sign language, and lip reading. Provide vocational training, e.g. computing, typing, carpentry, bookbinding. Provide scholarships and allowances for children with special needs, CWSN. Provide assistive support like readers, writers, or escorts. Heretofore, social interventions. These focus on community involvement and social support. Encourage community participation in awareness programs. Motivate parents and community members to participate in school committees. Encourage the community to provide funds or donations for schools. Encourage parents to support inclusive education. Request society to donate learning aids and equipment. Take suggestions from society to improve inclusive schools. Collect feedback from community members about inclusive practices. Seek community help to overcome barriers. Promote positive attitudes toward children with disabilities. Involve society in planning and monitoring inclusive programs. Inclusive education is important not only for equal rights in education, but also for humanity and social justice. It helps children who were previously excluded from education to learn and participate in society. The success of inclusive education depends on teachers, administrators, parents, and the community working together. The main goal is to change the mindset that the child is the problem and instead improve the education system so it can meet the needs of all learners. If you want, I can also make a